Hello, so we're going to go through question 8 in this problem. So let's begin by giving it a read. It says the back end of a 160 meter long train disappears into a 700 meter long tunnel. 20 seconds later, the front of the train emerges from the tunnel. Determine the speed of the train in meters per second. So the first time I read this question, I found it very hard to kind of just visualize what was going on. And whenever you're in that issue, when you're having the trouble of trying to just picture what's going on, what do you think you should do? That's right, you should draw a picture. So the first thing I did was I drew for myself the tunnel. Now, my picture was very simple. It was just a straight line. This was my tunnel. And I know this tunnel is 700 meters long. Now I'm going to draw my train. I'm going to draw my train in purple. Now, it says that my train is 160 meters long, which is fantastic. And it also tells me something. It tells me that the back end of the 160 meter long train disappears into this tunnel. Well, what that would look like is this. So this right here is the back end of my train. This is the back of the train. And this is my train. And I know that this train is 160 meters long. So this is kind of what's happening. Do you already see how much easier this question is once we can visualize what's going on? Now, what we need to do, well, we keep reading. It says 20 seconds later, the front of the train emerges from the tunnel. Well, you probably can already figure it out. This right here is the front of my train. This is the front of my train. So I need to figure out the distance it travels for the front of the train to be here. So what is this distance here? How am I going to figure that out? Well, if the entire distance of the tunnel is 700 and this is 160, I just have to subtract it. And 700 minus 160 is 450 meters. So I know it traveled 450 meters in 20 seconds because 20 seconds later, the front of the train emerges from the tunnel. So it traveled 450 meters in 20 seconds. So let me now just write that as a sentence. In 450 meters per 20 seconds. Now, I have to give my answers in meters per second. So what that means is that this right here has to be 1 second. So to do that, how do I go from 20 to 1? You guessed it, you divide by 20. So I'm going to divide both sides by 20. You can use your calculator here. What's 450 divided by 20? It's going to be 27. 27 meters per 1 second. So that means it's 27 meters a second. And that's going to be my answer. So hopefully that makes sense and shows you the importance of drawing yourself a little image if you're having trouble visualizing a question.